Who's the first person that comes to mind when someone says film director? Is it Alfred Hitchcock? Or maybe Stanley Kubrick? Could it be Christopher Nolan or Quentin Tarantino? These are just the names of a few of the most well-known film directors. I will be explaining the development of the film director role, the names of some influential directors, and a few of their most famous movies. What is a director? A director is the creative lead of a film or television show. They hold the creative vision throughout the whole process, from pre-production all the way through to the final edit. What does a director do? Directors are employed by the producer or the executive producer, who is ultimately responsible for production. Directors start with a script and work with a screenwriter and sometimes a script editing team. But it's not uncommon for the director to be the screenwriter as well. Quentin Tarantino, Akira Kurosawa, Chris Columbus, Lana Wachowski, and Sylvester Stallone. These are a few directors who are also screenwriters. It is the job of a director to imagine the script in a visual form. As soon as a production company has raised the money that is needed, either through funding or commissioning, they work closely with the producers to appoint a head of department, such as director of photography, assistant director, and production designer, among many other roles. Directors work with the producers and casting directors to select the actors. Directors also work with the director of photography to develop the filming style, including notes about camera shots and possible script changes. Some directors rehearse actors ahead of shooting, though not all of them do. They block the performance with the actors before filming begins. This means that they choreograph where actors are positioned, where they will move throughout a shot, and how they will deliver their dialogue. At the same time, a director will also be instructing other members of the crew, especially lighting, wardrobe, and makeup supervisors. Directors work to get the best performance out of the actors, but also need to ensure that all technical aspects are in place to get the best possible version of a scene filmed. After filming, a director will lead the editing of a film, preparing what's known as a director's cut, role development. Film directors used to be the sole creative force behind a movie. Some would develop the original idea, write the script, and then see it through to completion. However, over the years, the role has developed and evolved. Let's take a look at just how much. Silent film era. In the early 20th century, between 1900 and 1920, was known as the silent film era, where visual storytelling was paramount, especially as there was no synchronized sound. Directors like D.W. Griffith pioneered narrative techniques such as cross-cutting, close-ups, and long-form storytelling. Film editing became crucial for storytelling. Directors began experimenting with shot composition and pacing to evoke emotion and suspense. Introduction of sound. In the late 1920s to the 1930s, the arrival of sound, also known as the talkies, revolutionized filmmaking. Directors like Alfred Hitchcock and Orson Welles embraced sound to create an atmosphere of tension. Sound design became integral to storytelling, allowing directors to blend dialogue, ambient sound, and music with their visual narrative. New Hollywood and special effects. Between 1960 and 1980, a new Hollywood was born, bringing with it special effects. Directors such as Stanley Kubrick, Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, and Francis Ford Coppola began experimenting with non-linear storytelling. Directors explored the use of special effects using models, animatronics, and stop motion to create fantastical elements that integrated with live-action filmmaking. Digital revolution. In the 1990s to 2000s, filmmaking was digitally revolutionized with computer-generated imagery, more commonly known as the abbreviated version, CGI. I'm sure that no matter how hard you tried, you wouldn't be able to name a present-day movie that doesn't use CGI in some way. Directors like James Cameron, Peter Jackson, and the Wachowskis embraced digital technology and CGI to create immersive worlds and scenes previously impossible with practical effects. Influential directors. Christopher Nolan, who is most well known for Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises, starring Christian Bale as everyone's favourite Caped Crusader, and Michael Caine as his loyal butler Alfred. Quentin Tarantino, who is known for Pulp Fiction, starring Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta, and Reservoir Dogs, starring Tarantino himself, Harvey Keitel, and Tim Roth. Tim Burton, most well known for Beetlejuice, starring Michael Keaton and Winona Ryder. Edward Scissorhands, starring Johnny Depp and Winona Ryder. And his recent big hit Netflix show Wednesday, starring Jenna Ortega, Gwendolyn Christie, and Christina Ricci. Steven Spielberg, who is known for directing Jaws, starring Richard Dreyfuss, Roy Scheider, and Robert Shaw. Back to the Future, starring Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, and Leah Thompson. And Jurassic Park, starring Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, Sam Neill, and Richard Attenborough. Chris Columbus, who is known for Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone and Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, starring Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, and Emma Watson as the golden trio of the Wizarding World.